Hey guys, Andy back here from Mediocre Hobbies, bringing you another kind of crazy week of content. A couple of weeks ago I did Indomitus week, where I basically took an entire week of my calendar and devoted it to smashing through the Indomitus box set. We managed to pull that off. We got our Flesh Tearers army started and we got all of the Necrons done. They're actually all sitting here. So there's the Necrons from the Indomitus set with a few extra pieces. And then down here we have the Flesh Tearers that we did from that set as well, a few extra pieces in there as well. And the idea behind that week was to get Indomitus off our backlogs so that we feel a little bit less guilty for when Leviathan drops. So Leviathan has dropped now. It's officially been released like on shelves to pick up and buy as of last Saturday, which is only a couple of days ago now. And I'm going to now spend this week hopefully with you guys, as most of you should have your copy of Leviathan in your hands now. And I'm going to spend this week smashing through the entire Leviathan box set. Now, this is my Leviathan box set as it stands. And you will notice that I have done a few bits and pieces already. We have done the Lieutenants, one of the Terminators, and the Dreadnought. And we've done the Psychophage, the Screamer Killer, and the Von Ryan's Leapers as well. I did them all as kind of tutorial videos on my channel. So the idea before for the rest of the week is to finish it off. All the Space Marines done like Flesh Tearers to match in with the force from the Indomitus box set, and then all the Tyranids to match into my own personal Tyranid scheme. As you can see, it's not a new scheme. I've had very many of them for years now. But obviously I've touched up the color scheme a little bit. I've made it a little bit cooler, I think. So I might go back and touch up some of my old ones as well. So that is my current plan, is to get through Leviathan in 1 week. I'm really excited to bring it to you guys. You guys seem to really enjoy Indomitus week, and I'm hoping you guys are of course going to enjoy this week just as much. I'm going to basically plan it pretty much the same as the original week, which in to say, I mean, the Space Marines are of course going to be the slower thing to paint. More time and effort is going to be required to get those guys painted. So what I'm going to try and do to give myself a head start, like I did with the Necrons on day one of the Indomitus set with the Leviathan, I'm going to try and have all of the Tyranids painted by the end of today. Every single one of them. So that may be a crazy out there goal, but I'm going to try it anyway. I may be slowed down because I am actually joined in the studio today, for the morning at least, by two little helpers who are an absolute pain. So they're going to, of course, slow me down a little bit, ain't you? So these are my babies. So yeah, they're of course going to distract me immensely from my work, aren't you? But yeah, I think it's doable. I think I can get the entire Leviathan box set done by the end of the week. I'm not expecting everybody to kind of follow along and paint their entire set in a week or anything, but I think it would be cool if we actually just got to work on our box sets. Pick a unit or two that you're excited about, a character, something, and by the end of this week try and have it finished so that you can actually see some progress through on the Leviathan box set. So yeah, as goes for where to begin, like I said, I'm going to start with the Tyranids. But if you watch Indomitus week, you know the first thing that I need to do is clean my desk. Give myself a nice, beautiful workspace that I can actually begin this project from. Like I said at the beginning of the last one, this is a really important step for getting your kind of mind in the right place. And just a good, healthy, clean desk space is going to do wonders for getting this project underway. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do, and then I'm going to get cracking on my Tyranids. So wish me luck, guys, and I hope you enjoy the week. Okay, guys, if you were with me for Indomitus week, you'll know that I think the first step of any of these kinds of crazy projects is, of course, get your workstation in some sort of a manageable and nice thing. I'm a big believer in like mindset. If you sit down at a desk that's totally messy and totally crapped up, and it's annoying finding your paints, and it's annoying finding your brushes, and it's annoying to move, all of those things are just little impediments that's going to stop you wanting to do your hobby, wanting you to get some painting done or some building done. If you have a nice clean environment, it's more encouraging. You're going to feel better about doing it. So obviously I went into this a lot more in Indomitus week. So for Leviathan week, all I did was, like I said before, clean my desk, get it all nice and tidy. And I don't even just mean clean it as in remove all the junk. I mean literally I've got my polish and my cloth out, and I'm going to scrub and make sure there's no bits of flash or nothing that's going to annoy me while I'm painting, and get all of that cleaned up. Cutting mat and all, and then of course the desk underneath it. It seriously does help when you start from a really clean kind of environment. These are the Tyranids that I'm of course going to be tackling. These are everything except for the Screamer Killer, Psychophage, and the Von Ryan's Leapers. They were done for videos already, so it's the rest of the Leviathan Tyranids apart from those that I'm going to be tackling here today. It is of course a long process because it's basically 4 layers for the soft skin that I'm going to do. It's if you follow my videos, it's a layer of Guilliman Flesh Contrast, then it's a Carriber Crimson Shade all over the skin, then it's dry brush of Screaming Skull, then a dry brush of Morghast Bone, and obviously all of that takes time. If I was to say paint 10 gaunts, it would be a very enjoyable experience. I think, you know, throwing any one of those stages onto 10 gaunts, it's not going to take a lot of time. Throwing it on this many models, it only took me about 10-15 minutes before I really started to panic and thinking that every stage is just going to take hours of time. And that's where I kind of quickly shifted tack and I broke out my airbrush to do those first 2 coats, the contrast stage and the shade stage. Anyone who didn't realize that you can put contrast and shades through an airbrush, you can, of course. You just need to knock down your PSI to about 15, so 15 PSI. Really light spray. This will apply the paint, but not push the paint after it hits the miniature. It almost hits the model dry, to be honest. It doesn't, I believe, give as nice an effect as if you brushed it on and you controlled it a little bit more. So I guess for myself, if I was to go back and do this again, I would definitely agree with doing it with all of the gaunts. Anything small that's going to be horde based, but for instance the Screamer Killer or anything like that, I'm definitely doing with a brush. I want to get maximum control. I want it to look as nice as possible. Any of those kind of standout pieces. And if I could go back again from what I've done here, I probably wouldn't have done the Neuro Tyrant with that as well. I would have just stuck to the gaunts. But like I said, I felt like I was under time pressure, so I rushed a little bit. So take that under advisement. We will see whether or not it will pay off later on down the road, or if I don't think that they turned out to the same standard that I would have liked them to do. So with the 2 layers done on the 2 wet layers, the contrast and the shade, it's now time to do the dry brushing. Screaming Skull first, and that's a dry brush on pretty much the entire miniature, and quite a light dry brush. After that, we go over to the Morghast Bone, and this is very much a bigger brush, lighter dry brush, just catching the sides and the tops of the miniature. You're not trying to get in under or anything like that, as yeah, this is basically where the light's going to hit the miniatures the most. And this skin tone does get further kind of defined when we get to the Volupus Pink stage later on. And that's actually one of my favorite stages to doing this project, is adding that real alien hue to it with that paint. Okay, we are at lunchtime, day 1 of Leviathan week. Like I said in the previous entry, I'm going to be tackling all of my Tyranids on this particular day. How is it going? Not as quickly as I thought it would be, and I think I may have made a mistake, and I'm not sure how that's going to play off. Hopefully with the next few layers it will kind of tidy up and not be as noticeable. But what I did do is I switched over to doing some airbrush work for some of the like skin, and on some of the bigger models it looks fine. Like, I'm happy with how the skin is looking on things like this. On the little guys though, I'm not sure if it's giving me the look that matches the rest of the ones I've done so far. These are just gaunts though, so should I really be overthinking it that much? I don't know. I look forward to putting the green paint or the blue paint on next, Stegodon Scale Green across all of their carapace, and maybe tidying it up a little bit and then seeing where we are from there. So I'm hopeful that that will tidy it up to where I'm happy with, but only time will tell. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to move over, probably spend about an hour with Stegodon Scale Blue, Stegodon Scale Green, keep saying blue, and painting up all of their carapace. So wish me luck. Now, it was at this point that silly, naive me still thought that I was in with a chance of finishing up all of the Tyranids on the first day. It is only when I started to get the Stegodon Scale Green and paint it onto a carapace. As you can see, this is still the first Neurogaunt model. I'm taking my time. I don't want to hit any of that skin tone or anything like that. So it was definitely held up. I thought I would at least get kind of the 2 layers of blue and maybe the Doomable Brown into the recesses finished today. But like I said, this just ate up the hours. I was listening to a Gaunt's Ghost audiobook while I was painting these, and I swear I got to 2-3 hours of time getting this Stegodon Scale Green applied to all those miniatures without hitting any of that skin. So it does look like that day one was not a bust, because I'm super happy with my progress, but I definitely didn't finish off where I wanted to, which means that the rest of the week will have to be a little bit kind of juggled around, but I'm excited to see how that's going to work out. Okay, this is where I'm going to finish up day one of Indomitus week. That's a lie. Leviathan week. I'm getting all topsy-turvy already. It's not even the first day. That's a problem. I did not achieve what I set out to achieve today. I think my lofty goals were a little bit too big for myself today. Their Tyranids are not as fast to paint as the Necrons were, although I still think they're probably easier to paint. They just take a little bit more time, especially the last stage I did, which I'm going to show you guys now, which is the carapace itself. So all of the rest of the miniatures are basically up to this stage. So all of their skin is done. Sorry, it's not focusing on anything except for anything I don't want it to focus on. Focus on the damn model. There you go. Everything is up to about this stage. So all the skin is done, all that multi-layeredness and all that loveliness. So there's 5 paints in to the scheme. And then the first coat, or the base coat, of all of the blue carapace just took so long. It ate up the second half of the day. I'm really happy to have that done, which means that I'm going to continue on with the Tyranids for day 2. So my goal is now to have the Tyranids finished by the end of day 2, which I still think puts me in a pretty good place. 3 days for the Space Marines I think is enough time, seeing how I already have things like the Dreadnought and the Lieutenant already painted, including one of the Terminators. That'll definitely shave off hours of time from what I need to do. So 3 days for Space Marines I think is definitely achievable. If you guys are enjoying Leviathan week like you enjoyed Indomitus week, make sure you show your support. Give the video a like. Comment down below with anything you like, dislike, or anything you want to ask me, and I will get back to absolutely everyone that does. And if you are not subscribed to my channel already, please take 2 seconds out of the day and hit that subscribe button. It really does make all the difference. Thank you guys so much for sticking around for day 1 of Leviathan week. This is going to be the same as Indomitus week, in that it will be 6 days, Monday to Saturday. So we're going to get 6 videos for you guys, and an extra one for my patrons. So yeah, it's going to be a very busy week, so wish me luck. I'll see you guys tomorrow.